Welcome or welcome back. My name is Joanne and today's video is my second round for my eyeshadow palette battle tournament. So it's round of 32. Very exciting. I'm not excited to choose these palettes, especially my last pairing. Yeah, we're just not gonna think about that right now, okay? So this idea came from, it's just Steph. She started an eyeshadow battle tournament thing. And I saw Sofie Alexandra do it, and then Sam at First Time Panner do it. I will have them linked down in my description box again in case you want to go check their videos out. I did do this look in my upcoming makeup playtime, so keep your eye out for that. It's not out yet. It's coming on Friday. But let's just get into this eyeshadow palette battle, which I'm very nervous about. My first pairing is my Glaminatrix Nearly Natural palette against my Oden's Eye Christmas Eve. So I did this last time. I just opened them up to show you guys. I'm gonna do that again. So here they are. I already know which one's gonna win. I love this color story so much. I love the blues. Mwah, gorgeous. But Oden's Eye doesn't have my favorite formula. So this round is going to Glaminatrix Nearly Natural. Sadly, this is discontinued. They have changed to smaller pans, so they got rid of this palette. I'm sorry if you can hear cooking in the background, but this is just so nice every day with a couple different varieties that you could do. And I love the formula. The mattes are more buildable. I've come to find out that I prefer a buildable formula than one that's very pigmented and takes a long time to blend. So this one, very much that. The shimmers are so pretty, especially these two. They're extra sparkly. And these metallics are just super metallic. And I just love this palette. So this one is moving on to the round of 16, Sweet 16. The next pairing are Viseart Mingset against Bella Beauté Bar Stranger Than Usual. Again, this one should be a no-brainer, but as we learned last time, you never know. But Bella Beauté Bar is my favorite, if not one of my favorite brands in my collection. Here are those two. Yeah. There's no question about this one. Bella Beauté Bar Stranger Than Usual. I mean, these shimmers are just so special. Honestly, I feel like Afterlife looks like kind of something that I'm wearing today. And that's like my favorite shade in this palette. I have a type. What can I say? But I talked about this palette in my last round. The mattes aren't their best mattes that they've come out with. Their newer formula is 100 times better. I think they did re-release this palette. I haven't really been keeping up with new releases or anything, but these shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. They're sparkly, shifty goodness. And I love the color story. Very much a spooky time color story. I love it so much. So without question, Strange and Unusual is moving on. That means it's Strange and Unusual versus Nearly Natural. I can't think about the next round because that's gonna be hard. I have a feeling my next round is gonna be like all indie palettes. Just a hunch. So this is the first super hard pairing of this round. I have Sydney Grace and Mel Thompson Tiny Marvels versus Cosmic Beauty Muse. Again, here are what those two palettes look like. Kind of similar. Oh boy. I love both these color stories. I love both of these matte formulas. But I think I'm gonna have to give it to Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels just because I prefer the shimmer formula of this one a little bit more than Cosmic Beauty Muse, because these don't crease on me and these do. And again, the color stories are kind of similar, kind of different, you know, like similar vibes, I would say. But I'm gonna give it to Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels just because, again, I prefer the shimmer formula of this palette. And I'm sorry if I'm not going as in-depth with these palettes in this video. I go pretty in-depth with them in my first video, so I will have that link down below in case you want to go check that one out. But I just don't want to be too repetitive with them. This is just me picking what's gonna go next, what's gonna move on, and the reasoning why comparing to the palette it's up against. So I recommend go checking that video out if you want more in-depth detail about the palettes. The next pairing is another interesting one. So I have Shroud and Batty Bean, It's Freaking Bats versus Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 5. Here's what both those look like. So here's Shroud Cosmetics, It's Freaking Bats, and then here's the Danessa Myricks. So this is an all shimmer palette, and this is a very Halloween time palette. And this one's rearranged, so this is not how it comes. This one's hard because I love this color story. There are a couple very unique shades in my collection, and I love the shade 0 in right here. I love that shimmer so much, but this shimmer formula is better than this one in my opinion because it's sparkly, whereas this is more of like that smooth metallic type of formula. They did update their shimmer formula to be more sparkly now, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna go, So even though this gives me the sparkly shimmers that I love, I'm still gonna go with It's Freaking Bats. Because I mean, this color story, you can't beat it. It's so fun. I literally love this periwinkle shade. Again, I love the shade 0, which is like a purple blue shift duochrome. I love that you have a super dark shade. The shade, this yellowy shade is really pretty too. It has like a green undertone to it. And I mean, these two shimmers are really pretty as well. So It's Freaking Bats is gonna beat out my Danessa Myricks palette. So excited for this one, this little 9-pan palette to move. I'm excited for this palette to move on to the next round. Next we have Gourmand Girls and Doodles by the Bunny Spooked versus Ensley Rain Cosmetics Cold Moon. Here are those two palettes. Oh, I hate to do this because I love Gourmand Girls. And I think Gourmand Girls formula is amazing. The mattes are pigmented but blend so easily. And the shimmers are absolutely so pretty, sparkly. They stay on my lids. What more could you ask for? But there's just something so special about Ensley Rain's formula. Again, I wish I was supporting them right now because I would definitely get more palettes from them. But they're just so special. The mattes are just literal perfection. Like, they're buildable, they're so blendable, just everything you would want in a matte. And the shimmers are sparkly, shifty, the formula is so nice, just, I love it. And even though I'm not a huge cool tone girly, I mean, can you tell? I'm wearing a warm tone eye look. Even though I'm not much of a cool tone girly, I'm gonna give it to Cold Moon. Just because it's the better palette, honestly. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but Cold Moon is gonna move on to the next round. Next round, we have Gourmand Girls Haunted versus Bella Beauty Bar Smoky Glam. Here are the two palettes. Oh, I don't know what to do. I just want to say I love like all of these palettes that have moved on. If I don't love it, it wouldn't be in my collection. Well, that's a lie. I don't love my ColourPops and they're in my collection, but that's because of nostalgia. Even though this is a humongous palette and gives a lot of variety in depth, I feel like it's still very like monochromatic in a way, because it's very much like those pinky mauvey nude shades with like pops of pinky purples, like this like olivey shade down here. And the shimmers are so pretty, absolutely gorgeous. But because of the variety of different looks that you can do with this palette, I'm gonna go with Gourmand Girls Haunted. I did just recently use this in a Deca Panning Project Pan and absolutely gorgeous. Love it. I just talked about the Gourmand Girls formula. Same thing with this palette. Mattes are pigmented but very blendable. This matte black is a little too pigmented for my liking, just my taste. but so pretty. Absolutely gorgeous, stunning, stunning palette. So Haunted is gonna move on from this round. Next up, we got Adept Seahorse versus Ensley Rain Groovy Garden. Here are those two. Again, another all shimmer, very pretty palette versus an everyday warm, sagey green palette. I love Adept. Shimmer formula, absolutely gorgeous. These are a little bit more of like an iridescent type of shimmer. Still very gorgeous, and I'm sorry that the packaging is so reflective. But this round's gonna go to Ensley Rain Groovy Garden. These Ensley Rain palettes, man. I did mention in my last video that I'm not supporting Ensley Rain anymore, just with everything going on with the brand and the owner, just things that I think could be better with the brand. But I'm gonna treat them as any other palette in my collection. And again, the formula is just amazing. Amazing quality in these palettes. This color story is literally me in a palette. I mean, these warm neutral shades, the greeny shades, it has a variety of depth, which I look for in a palette. And it's just so good. And the packaging is cute. I know they've gotten things about their packaging being AI generated, but Groovy Garden is moving on to the next round. Both of my Ensley Rains, again, moving on. Their quality's so good. Like, honestly, if what is going on with the brand doesn't bother you, go ahead and buy from them. I'm not gonna judge you for that. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you buy from this brand, like, that's so bad. Like, I don't know. It's fine. It's your money. You decide where it goes. Okay? Okay. We can all like each other, but support different things. There you go. Next pairing we have is Blend Bunny Lure versus Urban Decay Moondust Space Rider. Here are those two. You know how much I love Blend Bunny? Their mattes are so blendable. They're just very nice to work with, and this is their better shimmer formula. And this is just full of sparkly toppers, shimmers, but you can use these every day. And this isn't my favorite color story from Blend Bunny. I do love the purples, I love the teals, I love the shimmer shades. They're so pretty. But I think I'm gonna give this round to the Urban Decay Moondust palette. I've just been using this and I love it. Like, I've been enjoying going into Space Cowboy, even though I have shat on it in the past. But I think it's just so nice as a topper, and I love Wild Dipper Rides Again. I mentioned this in my last video. These are just so sparkly and just so nice to use for every day. And I'm gonna go with this little quad right here over my Lure palette. I have no words for myself. Okay, I'm surprised. I'm surprised I picked this one, but I think it's the right choice. Next pairing we have is Mel Gemini, gorgeous, gorgeous palette, against ColourPop Lizzie McGuire. This beat out Glaminatrix in the last round, right? Yeah. Anyways, not that that matters. I already know what palette I'm gonna pick. I think you do too. So here's Melt Gemini, absolutely gorgeous, warm, grungy palette. And then here's Liz McGuire, which I am using the coral in my crease today. I love this palette. It's my favorite ColourPop palette that I own. I love the variety in colors. It's just so fun to play with. But these grungy tones have my heart all the time. So Melt Gemini is gonna win this round. I always talk about how Melt doesn't have my favorite formula. They have a drier matte formula that requires a lot more time to blend, but I don't mind it. And yeah, the shimmers are actually very pretty in here. And yeah, Melt Gemini is moving on into the next round, which I'm not surprised about in this pairing. The next pairing is Natasha Denona Mini Starlet versus Electrum Cosmetics Celestial Witch. such pretty packaging. I love it so much. Again, here are the two palettes. I feel like there's not even a question. I love these tones, very easy to use, tiny little palette, but these shimmers are just so special. They're so like silky, so sparkly, shifty, just so pretty. And these are all hand pressed. Very impressive to me. But yeah, I just love this palette so much. Yes, it's an all shimmer palette, so it's more of a companion palette, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it so much. So much. Celestial Witch is moving on in this tournament. I can't believe this pairing. It's Adept Heather Austin versus Adept Ninja Hydran. It's an Adept battle. So here are those two. These are both so pretty. They have the same shimmer formula, but as much as I love my Ninja Hydran palette, it's gonna go to Heather Austin. And I always mention this, but Adept doesn't have my favorite matte formula. They just take a little longer to blend, but you can create full looks with this palette. Again, the shimmers are so pretty, just so nice. And there are different textures in here that I love that in a palette. And yeah, I just love that you can create full looks with this. They're sparkly, they're impactful, they're shifty, they're everything, just everything. And this is what got me into like indie shimmers. So this will always have a special place in my heart. And it's moving on to the next round. This round is going by so much quicker. I mean, my palettes are halved, so. But the next round is Gourmand Girls Nightshade versus Natasha Denona Bronze. That's so reflective. I need to find a spot that has nothing for it to reflect. So here's Nightshade and here's Bronze. Can you guess which one I'm gonna pick? I do love my warm neutrals, I will say. I love my warm neutrals. This is rearranged, so this is not how the palette comes. But I love my warm neutrals, but just the specialness of Gourmand Girls and this color story. This is my favorite Gourmand Girls palette that I own. Flowering has my heart. It's just such a pretty yellow shimmer. It has like a pink shift to it. I love it. I love the depth that you can get in here. I love the variety of shades that you can use. There's so many combinations you can do. If it wasn't for this palette, I would not have combined purple and yellow together. And I love that combination. It's so pretty. If you haven't tried it, try it. It's so pretty. And I talked about the Gourmand Girls formula. Pigmented, blendable, buildable. Shimmers are sparkly and just so yummy. So yummy. So Gourmand Girls Nightshade is moving on to the Sweet 16. Next is another brand battle. And this is a brand that battled in the first round, and that's Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette. Can you see it? Versus the Yucca palette. Here are those two. I think there's an obvious choice here. Yucca. I really love this formula. These shimmers are a couple of her better shimmer formulas. They're sparkly, they're smooth, they're very nice. Mattes, easy to use. They're matte browns. Easy to use every day. And again, I don't love this cream blush, but I do love the highlighter. But Yucca, this first of all gives more variety. These shimmers are also her better shimmer formula. They're so pretty. Again, it has a weird smell to it, but I love these tones. Grungy fall tones are literally my vibe. So I love these tones. Again, the better shimmer formula from Natasha Denona. I don't love the couple cream to powders that are in here, but they're workable. And yeah, I think Kemu Kemu just adds a little pop of something fun in this palette as well. So between the two, this one's gonna be moving on. If I had to guess, I wouldn't have guessed that a Natasha Denona palette would make it to the Sweet 16, but here we are. I guess that's just how this tournament wanted it to go. But yeah, Natasha Denona Yucca is moving on. Up next, we have Cosmic Beauty Serenity versus Makeup by Mario Etherealize. Again, I'm sorry if you can hear cooking in the background. It's just what happens when you live at home. But here are those two. Oh my god. How am I supposed to choose between these two? Okay. Because this one's fun. Gives a lot of variety. But Etherealize I love so much. I prefer these shimmers to these. Don't make me choose. Don't make me choose. I love this color story so much. So fun. Like the shade Sorbet, the top middle green shade is so pretty. I don't know. I have to sit on this one for a sec. After thinking about it, I'm gonna pick Makeup by Mario Etherealize. Is this more of a boring palette? Yes, but you can use it for every day. The formula's amazing. The mattes, they're a buildable formula, easy to use, everyday palette. And again, I prefer these shimmers to the ones in the Cosmic Beauty palette because they don't crease on me. Oh my god, I didn't even put on an inner corner highlight today. Who am I? Oh well. Guess I just don't have an inner corner highlight. But yeah, I just prefer this formula. I do love the mattes in the Cosmic Beauty palettes, but I just can't let this one go. This one's got to move on to the next round. I am not looking forward to either of these last two pairings. Next up, we've got Blend Bunny All Done Up versus Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction. Here they are. I don't know what to choose. Oh god. Oh, what do I choose? The more I think about it, the more I want to choose my Pat McGrath palette. But I love my Blend Bunny palette. Like, these shimmers are so pretty. They're sparkly. They're just so nice. And like, these Blitz Astral shades are really pretty too. This gives more variety. And I prefer this matte formula to this one. I'm going to talk about the Blend Bunny palette first. So, I love Blend Bunny. I love these grungy tones. But at the same time, I don't love these matte shades. I don't know what it is. I just don't love them. These browns are a little too, like, cool tone for me. For, like, my liking. Actually, that would be kind of, yeah. Like, it's just a little too, like, muddy for me. Although I love these shimmers. I love the greens. But the Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction palette, I would use these mattes all the time. They're everyday neutral shades. Again, these Blitz Astral shades are amazing. They're silky smooth, so sparkly, so impactful, just everything. But like, this is such a new palette that I'm like, can it move on over my Blend Bunny All Done Up? You know, you just saw my messy vanity there. Why is this one so hard? Like, it's literally like impossible for me to choose right now. This decision really hurts, and I might change my decision later down in the future. But I'm gonna go with the All Done Up palette because, again, it provides more variety. The shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. They're sparkly. They're impactful. But I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm gonna go with my Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction because, again, I can use these mattes every day for an everyday look. I can use these more smooth metallics for like an everyday look. I can use a Blitz Astral to make it pop more fun. Yeah, I'm gonna go with my Bronze Seduction just because, even though this gives me more variety, I still love this palette. I would reach for these shades for the mattes more than these ones. Oh, this one hurts so bad though. But I'm gonna stick with the Bronze Seduction for this round. Even in my last episode, my last round was the hardest round. And this time is no different. Okay. We have Adept Sumerian Sunset versus Bella Beauté Bar Basic Witch. I have an idea of which one is going to move on, but it pains me so much because I've been thinking about this round since my last round. Yep, I've been thinking about this one because I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. And again, I'm not decluttering these palettes, so it's not that deep. But like, if you're a makeup lover, it still hurts. So here are those two. Oh my god. Again, two of my favorite palettes in my collection. I mean, this got a buy first round because it's one of my favorite palettes in my collection, along with my Nearly Natural palette. I don't want to make this decision. I don't want to because I love both of these and they both have a special place in my heart. And I talked about why this palette is so special to me in the last episode. I love the color story. It's Adept. But Bella Beauté Bar Basic Witch is gonna beat it out. Oh my god. Okay, don't cry, you're fine. Again, I love this palette. I love Adept shimmer formula, but the mattes, Bella Beauté Bar is way better. And these shimmers are still very special. They're very smooth, they're very impactful, sparkly. And I did use this somewhat recently and they didn't crease on me, which is a huge plus. And this just gives you so much variety in the different looks you can do. You can mix and match, you can do an orangey look, you can do a purple look, a pink look, a green look. You have this super deep purple black type of shade. Gorgeous. You have this really like cool tone purpley gray shade. Gorgeous. This palette is just so good. Even though I love the tones in this, I mean, you know I love my fall tones, right? Fall, grunginess, give it all to me. But this color story is absolutely gorgeous, and I just prefer Bella Beauté Bar mattes over Adept. So this is going to beat out Sumerian Sunset, which hurts my soul. It literally hurts my soul, but either way, it would have hurt my soul. Like, it would have pained me to let go of either of these in this tournament. Yeah, Basic Witch is moving on to the Sweet 16. There's my second round of my eyeshadow palette battle tournament. Yeah, go check out the people that I've mentioned, Steph, Sofie, and Sam, if you don't watch them already. And yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great day, great night, and I hope you're excited for round 3 coming at you in a week, which is the Sweet 16 round. That's going to be interesting. I'm not going to think about it too much. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a great day, a great night, whatever time it is for you. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.